Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about Chiron in major adverse aspect to the Sun in a natal horoscope. As most of you know, Chiron is associated with that wounded healer. Chiron is something that we emphasize and accentuate often in our horoscopes for others, but we often lack the capability of doing so for ourselves, or I should say, not necessarily the capability, but we don't always emphasize this area or sector in our own lives. And I think a lot of this is attributed to overcompensation due to the fact that we're helping others so much in this area that we often neglect ourselves in this section of our lives. And Chiron, as far as its influence, I see it like a generational planet, even though it's perceived as like an asteroid or planetoid by many. It traverses a sign on average for 4 to 5 years. I think its significance is more by house placement for that reason. But anyway, first thing is, if somebody has Chiron in major adverse aspect to the Sun, this could be somebody that might feel somewhat maybe inhibited in terms of maybe expressing their leadership qualities. It might indicate somebody that has somewhat pessimistic outlook, maybe a little bit melancholy, person that has a conflict perhaps in helping others, which is the wounded healer Chiron, in attending to their own basic needs. This could be somebody that perhaps has experienced a strong, more likely than not figurative wound, some kind of pain or anguish in their lives, and it might be somewhat precluding them from attaining what they want to do in connection with their sun sign. This could be a person that could be somewhat cynical. This could be a person that might have some vacillation between maybe helping others as far as the Chiron placement goes, and perhaps helping themselves in attending to their basic needs. The wounds that this person may have received may be a blow to his or her ego to some degree. I look at this, and of course we look at by sign, and house placement is important as far as the aspects goes. I have Chiron making a square to my Sun in the natal chart. My Chiron is in Aries, and my Sun sign is in sensitive emotional Cancer. So you could see how with me that could really be emphasized in the sense that any wound that I may have received maybe an earlier point in life may be affecting me to some degree due to my sensitivity. I also have 2 other planets in Cancer, and Chiron squares both those planets as well, so you could understand where this can really be detrimental to a person. And the key is not to let people that have adverse aspects with their Sun to their Chiron should learn that they can't, it's important not to ruminate or lament over maybe past wrongs or past upsetments or things that didn't go your way necessarily, because if you harbor all these things and let it eat at you, it may prevent you from making progress maybe later on in life. And it's important not to think about past hurts, whether it has to do with your own mishap or maybe somebody doing something that was malicious that may have hurt you to some degree. With me, my Chiron being in Aries, it could show that I want to help others perhaps in the leadership department, and showing these fears, trying to help others maybe perhaps show that fearless, aggressive, assertive attitude in things in life in connection with their limitations and restrictions, because I have Chiron and Aries in the 12th. But at the same time, what it could be doing is maybe I'm really overemphasizing that area of my life at times, and perhaps it's preventing me from doing things connected with my sun placement. I have the sun that's in the second house in conjunct the third. Second house is about monetary matters, and the third is communication. So you could see where maybe I could have maybe some problems with this, perhaps maybe to which would be attributed to maybe overemphasizing the Chiron placement. So this person that has these aspects can also, perhaps on the other side of the coin, maybe their basic needs, their ego wants, which is connected with their sun sign and house placement of the sun, may somewhat preclude them to some degree maybe from helping others. And you might see somebody that may at times be somewhat egocentric and be so engrossed in their own needs that they're not willing to maybe help the quote-unquote the wounds of others, maybe to the extent that they should. And I think what's essential is to remember to try to find a balance between the ego needs, the basic wants with the sun sign, and in helping others, showing the selflessness associated with the Chiron placement. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for Chiron in major adverse aspect to the sun in a natal chart. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be talking about Chiron conjunct Pluto in a natal horoscope. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel, but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because a person astrologically is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.